When I finished watching the absolute cinema of a football match, which was Bayern Munich versus PSG yesterday, I thought to myself, one word: dynamism. Specifically in the context of Liverpool replacing Mo Salah. When I look at our biggest struggles offensively this season, I think of a lack of pace, a lack of explosiveness, a lack of killer instinct with transitions this season. And I look at the game yesterday, Bayern PSG, and I think to myself, just imagine if we had the pace of a Luis Diaz. The way Luis Diaz was able to get to that ball, was able to control that wonderful pass from Harry Kane, one of the players who had a fantastic performance in that game yesterday. Luis Diaz, if he doesn't have the pace, if he doesn't have the ball control to control that ball and shoot the way he did, that goal never happens. And that's why I say having pace in the game right now, in football right now, it is so important, and it is arguably the most important thing, how athletic you are. Because we see it more and more that the game is transitioning to becoming more athletically based. Less about the technicians, less about how good you are in terms of on the ball, in terms of under pressure in tight spaces. That is still very important. That is still very important. But you look at how games are decided now. You look at a game like this, end-to-end stuff. You need endurance, you need athleticism, you need pace. A player like a Mesut Ozil, no disrespect to him, he's a fantastic player, but he wouldn't be able to cope with the physicality of this kind of game. He wouldn't, because physically he doesn't have the legs to cover ground in the same way that other midfielders, other wingers, other players can do. And I think this when I think of how Liverpool can replace Mo Salah, because we can't replace his presence in the dressing room. An absolute leader, legend, his work ethic, his resilience, his determination, his goals. We're not going to find somebody that's going to score 30 goals, 40 goals in a season, over 50, 60 GA. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We can't do that. Players like that, they're generational talent. They define their generation with how they play. But when I think of the game yesterday, I think of explosiveness in terms of players like Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Luis Diaz, Elisa, etc. Players who have pace, but also players who are ambipedal, players who are good with both feet, players who are electric dribblers. And I think this is how we replace Mo Salah best. We replace Mo Salah by replacing the weaknesses we have with play, the weaknesses that we as a team have. We replace Salah by replacing what Salah was lacking in as a player, specifically this season especially. And obviously with Salah, it's the lack of pace. It's the lack of ability to really beat his man 1v1. It's the lack of both-footedness. Salah, I love him, my favorite player, my GOAT. Literally, I love Salah to death. But when you compare him to the likes of Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, etc., he's not ambipedal. He's not both-footed. And the first person that I want to talk about in terms of replacing Salah is Mr. Yan Diomande, because when you look at Diamande's profile is exactly what we need. Exactly what we need, in the sense of he can play on the right, on the left, which shows that he's comfortable with both feet. It shows that he can play with both feet to a high level. And even though I haven't really watched Leipzig this season, from what I've seen and heard of him, he is very good with both feet, and he is an electric, explosive dribbler. And when you look at the goals that he has scored, by the way, for somebody of his age, these are really good numbers. And as he gets older, as he goes to a bigger team, a better team, he will increase his expected goals as he improves off the ball movement, etc. You can see he creates chances as well. He creates chances for his teammates. So he's not a selfish winger. He's not a winger that's going to only want to score goals. And we need wingers like that. We need wingers that are selfless, not wingers that always want to cut in and shoot. Gakpo, take notes, my brother. But the successful dribbles, the dribbles, this is what excites me the most about Yan Diomande. Because boys and girls, let me tell you something about wingers who can beat their man 1v1. These kinds of players are game changers. Against the low block, game changers. Against teams who play offensive football, who leave their fullbacks isolated in 1v1 situations, game changers. Wingers that have pace, wingers that can attack in behind, make runs in behind. You saw Luis Diaz goal yesterday. If Luis Diaz doesn't have the pace, if he doesn't have the ability to control that ball, that goal doesn't happen. Kvaratskhelia, some of the 1v1 play, the way he was cooking Stanisic, that's because of his dribbling ability, his ability to go both ways down the line, but you know he's going to cut in and shoot. This is what we need to replace Mo Salah, and Yan Diomande has that. He has that. He has the versatility. He has the goal scoring. He's been really good for Leipzig this season, scoring goals, scoring in big games. He scored against Borussia Dortmund as well. Big games, big teams, and I think Diomande is somebody we should be replacing Salah with. Obviously, with Diomande as well, there's certain areas of his game that he can improve. Of course, his crossing, in terms of his crossing and stuff like that, he can improve it. But he's still very young. He's not even 20, not even 21, so he's not even in his prime. So definitely, as he ages and develops, he will improve, and I believe he will be a world-class player. Because you look at his defensive contributions, he is tailor-made for our system in terms of pressing aggressively, in terms of the Premier League as well. Diomande is somebody that is color-coded for Liverpool. This is the type of signing Klopp would make. This is the kind of signing Klopp would make to make a promising young player, a promising player into an elite world-class player. So we should definitely be making this one happen. And I think when you look at, like I said, when you look at wingers specifically, you look at players in the world, you look at these kinds of big matches, you look at players like this, world-class player, you look at what these players have in common, and it's pace. Like I said, it's speed. Elise, even with Elise, he's not explosive like an Mbappe, but he still has very good pace. And with Elise, what's even better with him is the fact that he can go both ways, because he's very good with his right foot, and because he is an elite 1v1 dribbler, an elite dribbler, period. So this is what we need to replace Salah, because like I said, the only way we can really replace Salah is replacing the weaknesses that Salah has. The weaknesses that Salah has in terms of not being good with both feet, not being a very good 1v1 dribbler. This is how you replace Salah. This is how you replace Salah. You can't replace Salah's goals, like I said. You have to replace Mo Salah's weaknesses with a player who is strong in Mo Salah's weaknesses, if that makes sense. And I look at another player. Who I would really like to replace Salah. Another winger to come into our team, because this summer we are going to be looking at wingers, midfielders, Wharton. Hopefully we can get that over the line. I would really like Edison from Atalanta as well. I would, obviously Anderson, but he probably will go to Man City. So for me, I would take Wharton and Archie Gray to replace McAllister if he leaves, to replace Endo. But when I look at wingers to replace Mo Salah, I look at this man right here, Minte. Minte is somebody who, like a Diamande, like a Kvaratskhelia, he's that type of winger in the sense that he loves to beat his man 1v1. He loves to go down the line. He can cut in. He has a very good left foot. And this is what we need if we're replacing Salah. Plus, he's explosive. Plus, he is young as well. This is somebody that can grow as well. Somebody that it can be good competition for a Diamande. And I look at Minte and I think to myself, this is also a really, really good deal if we can make it happen. You look at Minte this season, and I think he has been very impressive. Obviously, with his goal return, I think he can improve that. I think he can improve his off-the-ball movement. But like I said, similar to Diamande, these things will grow and get better as he moves to a bigger club, as he ages, as he develops, because he's only 21. And I think players like Lamine Yamal and all these players who are performing at a ridiculous level at a young age are skewing our perceptions, because we think if a player has statistics that aren't really exceptional, we think, oh, this player is not good enough. But when you actually watch them play and actually look at the context of what we need, what Liverpool needs, what a certain team needs, this profile of player is perfect. And I think with Minte, like I said, the stats speak for themselves. You look at the chances created, he's creating chances for his teammate. Minte is a very good crosser. In the game against Brighton when we played, he was putting in a lot of good crosses into the box for Welbeck. He was a threat. He was absolutely fantastic in that game. And with Minte, similar to Diamande, it's the dribbling. It's the dribbling. Like, you see 60 successful dribbles. You see all of this. You see this. And when you watch Minte play, you can actually see why he is ranking so highly, because he is a winger who has got a lot of pace and he can beat his man. He can go both ways. And this is exactly what we need to replace Salah. And I feel like getting Minte, getting Diamande on the right wing, Minte can also play on the left wing, Diamande can also play on the left. This is very good business that I feel that we should do to replace Salah. I think for right wingers specifically, I think this should be something we should be doing, because I've seen we've been linked with Anthony Gordon to play on the left wing. And with Anthony Gordon, I feel like we can get better wingers, better left wingers, wingers that can play on the right and the left, players who have been performing better than Gordon this season. I think we should be doing that, because with Gordon, he hasn't really been good enough for Newcastle this season, and he isn't as good of a dribbler as a Minte, as a Diamande, even like a Kudus, somebody like that, a Doku, a Semenyo. Gordon isn't at their level when it comes to beating his man 1v1. Gordon is a good player in the sense that he will get goals, he's got good off the ball movement, good work rate, but he's not a difference maker in my opinion. He's not a game changer. When I look at a Diamande, a Kvaratskhelia, when I look at even like a Minte, I look at a Leao at his best, these are game changers. These are players that can change the game on their own with their dribbling ability. You've seen it with the likes of Elise yesterday. You've seen it with their dribbling, with their moments. Gordon hasn't really shown me that he can do that. So for me, I wouldn't be looking to sign Gordon. I won't be mad if Liverpool sign Gordon, because he's English and he's 25. So for PSR, it's a good move, but I just feel we can sign better players than Anthony Gordon, players with a higher ceiling than Anthony Gordon. And I think of players who have a high ceiling, players who have big potential, and I think of this man right here. This man right here, Kudus, this man right here, he is a fantastic player. Injuries and him playing for Spurs will make you think otherwise. But when he was fully fit, he was Tottenham's best player. He was Tottenham's most threatening player. I think at some point in the Premier League, he had the most dribbles in the league. He had the most take-ons completed alongside Doku, which goes to show you that this is a man who is a very, very good dribbler. And with Kudus, I just feel that he won't really succeed at Spurs. Not because of himself, but because of the context of the team, everything that's going on. They're trying to stay in the league. I think they'll get relegated. But even if they do stay in the Premier League, they're not even going to be in Europe next season. So, and I feel like with a player like this, you need a player like this playing in the Champions League. A player like this, he deserves to be playing in the Champions League. And you look at his stats this season. 2 goals and 5 assists in 19 matches. That goes to show you that when he's played, he's actually been really, really good. He's been decent. And like I said, with Kudus, as you can see here, the dribbling. 52 dribbles. Like, when you look at somebody like Kudus, he is somebody that I would really like to replace Salah. The only issue is he is injured, so we would have to really wait until we can sign him, because of course, because he's injured, we can't really negotiate with him and get the deal done early, immediately after the World Cup. He might be injured, he might not even, I think he will be at the World Cup, but because he's injured, there might be some complications with the deal. But I look at Kudus, and as you can see with the dribbles, as you can see, I'm showing you guys wingers who are known for elite dribbling, who are very, very good at dribbling, because this is what we have to do to replace Salah. And with Kudus, with Diomande, they have the end product. They've shown they have the end product. Obviously, they need to be consistent, they need to do better, but when you look at the teams they're playing for, I feel that they have so much more potential than what their stats shows. I just feel that, and I know that, and I truly, truly believe in a better team, in better teams, these players will be exceptional, world-class players. A player that is predominantly a left winger, although this season he has been playing down the middle for his team. Really, really a player who is a player with world-class ability, but he hasn't really shown it this season. He hasn't shown it this season, but he is a very, very exceptional player. I look at this man right here. This man right here. This man right here, we've been linked with him. We've been linked with him. Leao, we've been linked with him. A lot of teams have been linked with him. Barcelona has been linked with him. And for me personally, I would be happy to take him at Anfield, because you look at what we are going to be missing with Salah, not just on the left wing, not just on the right wing, but also on the wings in general. We're missing output. We're missing somebody who is going to be a difference maker. And even though with Leao this season, he hasn't hit the same heights that he has in 23, 24, 22, 23, etc., etc., I still believe, from what I have seen of this guy, he is an exceptional talent. His ability to change games by himself, his ability to beat players 1v1, it's it is so exceptional. And I feel that at AC Milan, I feel he needs a new challenge. I feel like he needs to leave AC Milan to further his own career in order to take himself to the next level. Kind of like Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona, where Dembele, he obviously with Leao, he has reached higher heights at AC Milan compared to Dembele at Barcelona. But You saw Dembele, he left Barcelona, and look what happened. I don't need to say anything else. And I feel like with Leao, that could be the same. Because I look at Leao and I think there's a lot of similarities with Leao and Dembele at Barcelona. I think with Leao, like, he has shown world-class ability, but the issue is the consistency. I think the issue really is the consistency. And I truly think with the consistency, with a manager that can get the best out of him, Luis Enrique Dembele, playing in his proper position, because we all know Leao is not a striker. He is a touchline winger. He is a man that loves to beat his man 1v1, and he is one of the best in the world at doing that. And of course, this season for AC Milan, he's had 9 goals, 3 assists, and for his level, for what I know he can perform at, this isn't even that good. But like I said to you, when I look at Leao, when you think about him, you still think the dribbles. And obviously this season, his dribbling hasn't been as good as it's been in previous years. But you also have to take into account that he's been playing more as a centre forward. He's been playing like a box striker, because Milan, they play a 5-3-2 with him, Pulisic up front. They don't really play like a 4-3-3 where he can isolate his man 1v1. So you also have to take that into consideration. But the fact that Leao is still recording high successful dribbles, he's still in over the 90th percentile, as you can see here, it goes to show that he still has that ability. And I truly believe at a team that will get the best out of him, he will flourish. And I think with Leao, he's 25, he's in his prime, he's getting into his prime. I truly believe at the right team, he can flourish, he can cook, and he can be one of the best players in the world. And I would be happy with him. The only thing with Leao is his work rate off the ball. Of course, he would have to fine-tune that. But like I said with Dembele, Dembele wasn't always known for his work rate until he went to PSG. He wasn't always known for being a pressing demon like that. Even with Firmino, Mane, they weren't known for being pressing and aggressive, and until Klopp instilled that mentality in them. So I truly, truly believe if we can sign Leao and sign a Diomande, Minte, Kudus, whoever, I truly believe this is how we can replace Mo Salah and truly, truly take us back to the heights of the game. I truly, truly believe that. I truly believe that. It will take time. It will take time, of course. It will take time, of course, replacing Salah. Legend forever. But I truly, truly believe if we can sign wingers of this quality, obviously there's players that I haven't even mentioned. Yildiz would be my dream winger for this summer. You know, my dream winger, but obviously he signed a new contract at Juventus. Dream winger, right winger, Olise obviously, but that's not going to happen. But I know FSG are capable of signing a proper talent. And I truly believe if we can get this right, alongside improving the midfield, getting a centre back, etc., maybe getting a striker that can compensate for Ekitike's injury, I truly believe next season will be special.